You could make the argument that Arsenal minus 125 hosting Newcastle plus 333. The draw is plus 280 here. These odds, obviously, from Bet 365 are sponsors. That this match is actually the headliner, but
I agree.
We'll stick with Chelsea and City. That was what the BJ put at the top of the rundown for some reason. So he thought it was the
I didn't
headliner.
make the rundown. Okay, that
I
was
made
all
the
Anthony.
rundown.
Anthony made the rundown. Okay, I'm wiping my hands clean of that.
All right, so let's talk about this one.
We had to get warmed up.
Yeah.
Yes, we had to get warmed up. There will be some disagreement here, actually. So BJ, I'll just shoot it right to you because I find it, I thought for sure when I first started to look at the lines pop up for this week, I was like, oh, BJ is going to be running far away from Arsenal at this price.
No, he can't wait.
Oh my God. I couldn't believe it.
I can't wait. This is cheap. Like, this is so cheap. Are you kidding me? Like, only minus 125. Arsenal is a perfect 7-0-0 at home, plus 11.6 expected goal differential, only conceded 5.9 expected goals in those 7 matches. Newcastle is a big-time home road split team. They're a little over plus 11 expected goal differential at home. Away from home, they're only about plus 2. They've played 3 big six teams away from home, haven't won the expected goal differential in any of those matches. And the one thing that Arsenal did such a good job of against Brighton is they counterpressed them really, really well. They forced 6 high turnovers. The first goal came off of a high turnover. That is really the one weakness that you can point out with Newcastle right now. They're 12th in offensive pass per defensive action. So if Arsenal is able to counterpress the way they were able to press Brighton, who is a top 6-7 team at playing through pressure and a team that loves to play through the middle of the pitch, something that Newcastle also likes to do, I think Arsenal can definitely get at Newcastle in transition here. And I've looked through all of the Arsenal metrics. I don't really see a major weakness with them defensively. Like, you can't really get through at them in transition. They're number 1 in passes progressive passes and dribbles allowed. Like, they're a top 5 set piece team. They're top 2 at passes allowed in the penalty area, crosses allowed in the penalty area. Like, it's very, very difficult to actually generate a high quality chance here against Arsenal. And you know what? Yeah, they have been overperforming offensively as of late. Like, they've been running really hot. They've been scoring a ton of goals, but they've still created 11.5 expected goals in their last 5 matches. And they just created 5 big scoring chances against a top 7 defense at their own ground. So a price of minus 125 is far, far, far too cheap for Arsenal. And what they've done such a good job tactically, which I think they'll be able to really get at Newcastle, is they love to create these overloads at one side of the pitch because Xhaka has been doing such a good job of getting forward because Thomas Partey is such a good defensive midfielder and holding midfielder and defending in transition, that Odegaard has been able to be a floating number 10 and create overloads on either the left with Martinelli or the right with Saka. And that's why you've seen them get so much space down the wings. If you look at Newcastle, Trippier is not that great of a defender on the right side. Matt Targett is out for this match. So Arsenal should be able to create those overloads, should be able to create those chances down the flanks. And Newcastle is also still without Ishak. So this is a great spot for Arsenal. Minus 125, too cheap, way too cheap. I have them projected minus 143. So give me my Gunners, minus 125.
Arsenal's really good. I think everyone knows that. Newcastle's really good too. I think this number on Newcastle's fine. You're getting better than plus 330 on a team that since October 1st, like these two teams have been fantastic. I think if you look at their XG, it's nip and tuck. Like, depending on what models you're looking at, one might be slightly ahead of the other. Arsenal might be the best team in the league by XG differential, and you look at a different model, it's Newcastle. So I think that it's tight enough, and I think I know that the market has caught up on Newcastle a long time ago, but it still feels a little bit like if you took the Newcastle statistical portfolio and you just slapped Chelsea on there, what would this number be? I don't think it would be this high. So I actually think Newcastle is worth a bet here. I think it's a little bit disrespectful for what they've done and what they can do. Yes, Arsenal is really good, but oof, this is a steep price to me in my eyes, BJ. And I really was shocked. I thought you were going to be
oh, come on,
doing one of your I'm not betting against Arsenal, but I can't get to this number.
Arsenal, I believe Newcastle took money because Arsenal opened around minus 145 or so, and now we're down to minus 125. So And Arsenal has no significant injuries. So I'm not really sure. Maybe people, I guess, are believing in Newcastle and saying that Arsenal has been running really hot, but they're still creating a ton of expected goals. So no, I love the Gunners here. Too cheap, way too cheap.
What about you, Anthony?
Yeah, I'm probably going to sit this one out. I think it's the two darlings, right? The two teams that have surpassed expectations by the most this season in the league, playing one another in a situation where the market has upgraded both of them a lot since the season began. Arsenal less so because the market was high on them coming in. But the market has upgraded both these teams a lot. And we're kind of at a point now where you can make the case that it's getting to or is near a good time to kind of sell both relative to the market number. I can poke more holes in the Newcastle team for sure. I think their defense away from home has not been nearly as stout. BJ mentioned that. They've run pretty well away from home. Like they've conceded a bunch of chances and gotten let off the hook for it. And their defense at home has been stellar. But again, like when they played the bigger teams, they have, when you're a team that wants to press like Newcastle and your players aren't quite as good, the system is good, but the players aren't quite as good. The little things make a big difference. And I think that's what's happened when they play the other big six teams. Yes, they've had a go. They've caused problems for all of the defenses, which, by the way, I very much think Newcastle can cause problems for Arsenal's defense in those direct transition opportunity moments running at them. You mentioned what's Arsenal's problem defensively, BJ. William Saliba seems to be having a howler per match these days. So that's the whole, not necessarily the whole, but the transition defense. Yes, the transition defense has been the biggest area of improvement for Arsenal. And with that comes the skepticism that it could just regress and like they could just get worse again and not be quite as sustainably good in defensive transition, which is where I think Newcastle is at their best. So I can make a case for both sides. The number seems about right to me. I make Arsenal minus 130. So, maybe a tiny bit, but not something I'm running to the window to bet. Probably going to end up staying away here. I like a lot of unders on the board this weekend. This is not one of them because I don't want to step in front of the Arsenal train anymore. I tried betting an under against West Ham and they burned me, and then had Brighton. They burned me again. So there's time to fade this Arsenal team probably. And I thought Saturday was, and it wasn't. But this is not the one for me. So I'll be sitting this one out.